we don't talk to each other. If you want to talk, you talk to the whole group and talk to me. If you're going to talk to each other, I'm going to consider it an insult. I'm going to consider it an insult, Mr. Shadi. You're insulting me personally. Okay? So that's what I would think. If you want to insult me, go ahead and talk to your friend or somebody sitting next to you. And I'll take it as such. And I don't take it easy, I can tell you that. And I'm Saidi, from the Upper Egypt. They don't take that stuff easy, I'm telling you that. It's like, it's really tough. Okay? So last time we did chapter 2. Anyone can tell me what happened in chapter 2? Raise your hand, and if you want to say something about chapter 2, yes? The what? The tongue. We said one. They said the image was bridling the tongue. Was it chapter 1 or chapter 2? 2. Okay. To bridle the tongue. And we said that language bridling is what? What's bridle? What is bridled? Yes. The stealing of the horse, right? So that our tongue has to be controlled. What else in that one? What's in the chapter 2? Before that, we had, this is number 2. Number 1 was? What was the number 1 issue in chapter 2?
Partiality.
Partiality. Thank you. What did we say partiality mean?
Taking sides.
And then we said bridling the tongue. And then what else? Okay, this is number 3. Harmony of faith and works. I want to tell you something about that before we move on to chapter 3. You know what's a heresy? Anybody knows what's a heresy? Raise your hand. What's a heresy? Okay. Okay, very close. Tuta, do you want to say? Heresy.
Like false things about the church, like kind of like when you have like when it's heresy.
Has to do with Hershey? No?
No.
Okay.
Hershey.
Heresy.
Like,
Yes, you're very close. I want you just to kind of refine words.
so like when people say false things about the church,
False.
teachings.
Thank you. Teaching. What if I have a wrong idea about faith or wrong idea about the Bible, but I don't teach it? Is that a heresy? I don't really understand something correctly, but I don't teach it to anybody. Is that a heresy? No. Why, Sherry?
Because you're not teaching.
Exactly, because I'm not teaching it. I'm keeping it to myself. And if I'm humble enough, I'm going to ask the church, what does that mean? But to be a heresy, you have to teach it, God forbid. Heretics, you call them, the person who does that, heretic, is a person who teaches what? What does he teach? A heretic?
False things about the church.
False teaching. A heretic who teaches heresies. There was a heresy, listen to me, careful, because I don't think you're going to read this or find it anywhere. In the 1st century, in the time of St. James, listen carefully, listen very carefully, please, this is coming back, who said, you don't need to do the commandments. Jesus came to save you without doing anything from the commandments. So what do you mean? I can steal and I'm going to be saved and go to heaven? And the person would say, yes. You can insult your parents and curse them and cuss at them and you still go to heaven? And the person would say, yes. Is that a false teaching or it's a right teaching? They call that heresy. They have different names. This heresy is called anti, mean against. Listen to this, listen to this. Nomiel. What does nomiel mean? It's from the Greek word nomos. What does nomos mean? Law. This heresy was against. This anti means against. Nomiel means against the law. What is the law? Anyone tell me what's the law? Yes? The Ten Commandments. What does the Ten Commandments say? No gods. No images. The name, the day of the Lord. Honor parents. Don't kill, commit adultery, steal, false witness, which means lying, and then covet, which means to be jealous and envious. So how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is the law. So this heresy says Jesus came, so those who are doing these things will go to heaven even if they continue to do it, they don't want to repent about it. This is called saved in the new times. This is actually one of the things that Martin Luther brought back. And he said you can actually be saved by grace without this. God's going to save you even if you don't, if you ignore that. I'll tell you something about this. There are 3 laws here. If you break them, in the Old Testament, you get killed. You get stoned. If somebody saw you doing one of those 3 or 4, I'm going to count it for you. This one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. Actually, now only 6. What does it mean? If you have other gods in your life, if you are worshiping images, if you blaspheme the name, if you call the name of God something bad, you curse to the name of God and end the sentence. If you curse or cuss at your parents, and somebody catch you doing this, he can tell the governor of the city and you will be stoned. And then if you kill somebody and you commit adultery and cheat on your spouse. These are the things they call mortals. Mortal. These 2, death. Careful now. Cussing at a parent is one of them. Don't ever even think about it in your head. If you do this, one of those today, don't go to take communion without confession. You can postpone the stealing part. You can postpone lying. You can postpone coveting, being jealous and envious. But don't postpone confession when you had said something nasty to your parents. Or said something nasty about God. God forbid, this is the worst. Or about his name. Or have killed somebody. Or killing here today means abortion. People do it every day. They don't care. They go sleep together. And then the girl will be pregnant and the boy would tell her, let's go and get rid of the baby because they don't want to be known, so they go and do abortion. That's killing. It's a human being. You kill. Yes?
Yeah, like when you said like they kill you for like, or they used to kill you for like cursing at your parents, it was like in like ancient Mesopotamia when they used to like drown you in the river and like hope that you could swim and like kind of like an eye for an eye.
That's when the eye will for an eye. But this law, although the punishment, now you and I could do one of these things, but who get killed?
Jesus.
Christ. Just remember, your sins are not just ignored. Somebody had come to carry the consequences of what I'm doing. It's not free. It's not free at all. So when the people in the first century said Jesus came so we can actually continue doing this stuff and don't be punished, you're going to go to heaven no matter what. And St. James is saying what? Excuse me? You think you're going to be okay just thinking you believe in Jesus, you believe in God, and you follow, but you don't want to do any of this? That's where he's actually talking about. He says you cannot actually just say, I believe. So what is the name of the heresy? Anti-nomiel. Nomial, which means against the law. The heresy teaches that the law is not important anymore. Are we required to honor our parents? Are we? Yes, we are. Anybody who tells you you're not required to honor your parents is actually not godly, doesn't know God. Yes?
If you cuss at your parents, would your parents turn them?
In the old times, they actually, the kids depended on the love of their parents. Sometimes they did it, and the parents didn't want to do that because they could have been stoned. It would be the parents who would turn them in. Yes?
Was there, one of the heresies was if you want to be a Christian, you have to follow the Jewish
That's the Judaizer heresy. Good. One of the heresies in the book of Acts is to turn back. If somebody who doesn't know anything about Jesus, they first turn them into Jew, they become a Jew, and they follow the Jewish laws, and then they become, that's the opposite of this. It's the total opposite, okay? Both of them are heresies. So when he's talking about faith and works, listen to this. Martin Luther, not Martin Luther King, this is not an American guy. Martin Luther was a monk, an Augustinian monk in Germany. He's German. In the 16th century maybe, he, one time, came up with the idea that you, what he says, you are saved by faith alone. He actually put that word alone in his Bible. Even he translated it to German. There's no way, nowhere in the Bible do you find that word faith alone except in James. That's James chapter 2. The only place that you find faith alone, let's read it. The only place that you find faith alone is let's read that from verse 14. Who you want to read it, Josie?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Read all together and see where that faith alone comes.
What does it profit, my brethren, if someone says he has faith but does not have works? Can faith save him? If a brother or sister is naked and destitute of daily food, one of you says to them, depart in peace, be warmed and filled. But you do not give them the things which are needed for the body. What does it profit? Thus also faith by itself, if it does not have works, is dead. If someone will say, you have faith and I have works, show me your faith without your works, and I will show you my faith by my works. You believe that there is one God, you do well. Even the demons believe and tremble. But do you want to know, O foolish man, that faith without works is dead? Was not Abraham our father justified by works when he offered Isaac his son on the altar? Do you see that faith was working together with his works, and by works faith was made perfect? And the scripture is fulfilled which says, Abraham believed God, and it was accounted for him for righteousness. And he was called a friend of God.
Now, this is the verse that I want you to look at. It's chapter 2, Mr. Where is your Bible? Why you're not looking at it? James chapter 2. Do you know where it is? In verse 24. That's the verse I wanted you to read. This is the only place where you have faith alone in the whole entire Bible, from beginning to end. The only verse that has faith alone that Martin Luther added to his version in Romans. Let's go and see what does that say. Read it, Joseph.
You see,
Verse 24.
you see, then that a man is justified by works and not by faith only.
Okay, so this is the only place that has faith only. Faith alone. And it's actually negated. Negated. That's the only place that you have faith only. And faith only in this case is in the negative, not by faith only. So this is why, because he had to fight that heresy. that came back in the time of Martin Luther. Today you have some people say that too. You don't need any works to be saved. That's not true. It is not true. Okay? Right? So he goes and we said there's two examples he got. He got Abraham and he got also Rahab. Okay? And the image he gave, the body without the spirit is dead. Likewise, faith without works is dead. We got this? Did you get this? Okay, everybody have a clear understanding why St. James is talking like that? Okay, now we'll go to chapter 3. Shadi, read. Read loud and clear.
My brethren, let not many of you become teachers, knowing that we shall receive a stricter judgment. For we all stumble in many things. If anyone does not stumble in a word, he is a perfect man, able also to bridle the whole body. Indeed, we put bits in horses' mouths that they may obey us, may turn their whole body.
What's a bit? We said talked about it. We talked about bridle and we talked about the bit. He's speaking horse language. What's a bit, Shadi?
It's the thing put in horse mouth to move it. I don't know.
So the horse head will be like this. And the bridle will be like that. That's the bridle. That's called bridle. What's the bit? It's a little piece of metal that's going like this in his mouth. So this will be part of the control of the horse. Sometimes they do it like that, so it gets like this. The little metal with a metal on the side that goes inside the mouth. That's a bit. You might say, think of it as saying that he bites. It's a bit, bit, right? The horse bites it to keep his mouth controlled. All right, so he says, go read that verse again. So I'll give you the image.
For we all stumble in many things. If anyone does not stumble in one, he is a perfect man, able also to bridle the whole body. Indeed, we put bits in horses' mouths that they obey us, and we turn their whole body. Keep going.
Yeah, so there is bit. Bits is number 1.
Look also at ships, although they are so large and driven by fierce winds. They are turned by a very small rudder wherever the pilot desires. Even so, the tongue is a little numbered and most things. See how a great force.
What's a rudder? A rudder. Rudder. What's a rudder?
It's like a little little thing in the back of the boat, and one side is he dropping it?
The rudder is the thing at the back where they have the ship has like a little stick like this and they hold it. If you want to move the ship this way, you push the rudder like that. So the ship wherever you push the rudder, if you push it so it turns this way, or it turns this way, if you push the rudder this way, it resists the water. It resists the water. So if the ship is going like that, you push it this way, what happens? This side, the other side will be faster, and this side will be slower. So what happens when you have one arm faster than the other? It turns. Because the rudder is actually holding the water on one side. If you push the rudder on the other side, what happens? This side stops, and the ship will turn this side. How big is the rudder compared to the ship?
Small.
So that bit here is very tiny, and this rudder is very tiny. So two rudder. Told you about the images. That's rabbinic way of teaching. Rudder, okay? So he's giving that image of small things that actually turns big things. Small things turning big things. Again, small things making the direction for big things. What's the small thing in our body that this represents? The tongue. What's the big thing? Our body. So actually we can say something that makes somebody angry and hit us. You can say something that makes you advance in study, or advance in your job, and you can say something that makes you actually get punished. So bits and rudder. Continue reading, Mr. Sherry.
And the tongue is a fire, a world of iniquity.
Not next, number 5. Even so. Even so.
Even so, the tongue is a little member and most great things. See how great the forest a little fire.
Fire, that's what he's saying now. Number 3. You can have somebody who smokes and goes into the woods, and he goes into the dry ground of the wood where there's a lot of pine needles and leaves, and he would finish his cigarette and then drop it burning on the pine needles. What happens?
Fire.
The whole wood would be on fire. If this wood next to us, somebody goes there to smoke and is hiding, we'll set the whole thing, and then actually the church might get on fire. So the third thing is a small fire. And set the whole wood on fire. Okay. 6.
And the tongue is a fire, a world of iniquity. The tongue is so set among our members that it defiles the whole body and sets on fire the course of nature, and it is set on fire by hell.
It seems like the people who talks, he can talk things that actually can bring a lot of damage. And I spoke about this when we talked about gossip, right? Gossiping is one of the problems of the tongue. We said 7 harms can come out of gossip. What can you tell me? Gossip is part of what the tongue can do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If you give me 6, I'll be happy. What does gossip do? We talk about people behind their back. What can it do? Yes?
You can break relationships.
Break relationships. Because there is an immediate harm comes number 1. Yes?
It ruins people's reputation.
Ruins reputation, that's number 1. Ruins reputation. First thing is you actually can make somebody look ugly and people start to hate him or hate her. Number 3. Yes? We had 7, right? What else it does? It can lose trust, loss of trust. Because when you start speaking about somebody behind their back, the person who's listening to you is going to lose trust in you. They know, as you talk to them about someone, most probably you're going to go behind it and talk about them. What else? That this can happen. What would this lead to? It comes back and haunts you even after a long time. Comes back after you had forgotten about it and bites you from the back. You'd say, I forgot about that stuff, but that stuff doesn't forget about me. What else? It hinders your witness for Christ. It's very common in the churches, unfortunately, and homes. What else? Number 6. It destroys communities. I think of this as the forest. If we are all like trees here, and then gossip starts, and people start to talk about each other behind their back, which is something you should be very aware of, it destroys us as a community. Instead of building relationship and start to love each other, come closer to each other, understand each other, what happens? Start breaking, and there's no, what else? It, actually, this is one of the most important ones. It's a loss of relationship with God. Why? Because there is something very, very awful happens, which is hypocrisy. We develop hypocrisy in the person so that whatever they're doing is fake. They know it, they understand it, and they know that they cannot have a relationship with God. At least those 7, there's more actually. Okay? So that's just one problem of the tongue. I didn't tell you about the other ones. Cussing, cursing, speaking, describing bad things, talking about bad things. Doesn't have to be a gossip. Okay? So he said the 3 images: beds, rudders, and small fire. Continue, Shelly.
For every kind of beast and bird, of reptile and creature of the sea is tamed and has been tamed of mankind. But no man can tame the tongue. It is an unruly evil, full of deadly poison. With it we bless our God and Father, and with it we curse men who have been made in similitude of God. Out of the same mouth proceed blessing and cursing. My brother, these things out not.
Blessing and cursing. We go to church and learn hymns, and we say something like this: the cherubim worship you, and the seraphim glorify you, proclaiming and saying, holy, holy. What's our tongue doing now? Blessing, and we're saying holy words. And then I come out and talk to my friends, and I say the A word, and the B word, and the C word, and the D word, and the E word, and the... So I'm actually having 2 types of words coming out of one place. One of them is I'm blessing God, I'm saying holy words, and the other one I'm saying curse words, awful words that the world would say, and sometimes people in the world who doesn't know God, they don't know God, they will be ashamed to say it. And I, the child of God, have no problem saying it. That's what he's saying. This should not be. You're meant to be holy people. You're not meant to be defiled. You should not, you know, when a saint hears your words, and God forbid, you say bad words, he thinks there's like a sewage is open. It has a smell in the nose of the saints. It smells awful. You say, I heard words that smell like incense, aroma, good aroma. And all of a sudden this person came out of the church and their mouth started to be like bakaburt. Sewage. Yes. You know what's bakaburt?
No.
Bakaburt is a sewage, like that. What do we have? The trench where we keep the toilet, the range. Okay, so there's that mouth that has good stuff coming out of it. At the same time, it has bad stuff. How can that be? Yes, go ahead. Use the bathroom. Who are you going to assign to read in front in your place? It's your responsibility. Don't leave until you give it to somebody.
Samuel.
Okay, Sam, continue. Yeah. Yes, Samuel.
He said Samuel.
Samuel or Samuel?
I said Samuel.
No, I heard Samuel.
He
Okay,
said
he looked at him. He looked at him. Go ahead.
The spring sent forth fresh water and bitter from the same opening. Can a fig tree, my brethren, bear olives? Or a grapevine bear figs? Thus no spring wells, those salt water and thirst. Who is wise and understanding among you? Let him show my good. Conduct that his works are done in the meekness of wisdom. But if you have a bitter envy and self-seeking in your hearts, do not boast and lie against the truth. This wisdom does not descend from heaven, but is earthly, sensual, opulent, for where
What's the wisdom? What's the characteristics of the wisdom from below? I need you to tell me. Samuel, read for us the two types of wisdom. The wisdom from below. Describe it to us. You have it. You just started reading it.
this wisdom does not descend
So it has envy, right? Self-seeking. I sat with a man who had a little girl. He's a father for the first time, and he said, I don't know what to do. My girl doesn't let me sleep, and I feel like I'm losing myself. Where is the time I spend with myself? Where is the time that I do things that I like a lot? I can't watch TV, I can't do anything, I'm just invested to completely. What's he looking for? What's he seeking? Himself. He should be spending time with his daughter, right? He just doesn't like it because he's self-seeking. I explained to him this daughter will come back and be his best friend if he give her time, right? Envy, self-seeking. What else? Boasting. That's earthly demonic. Earthly demonic. Has envy, self-seeking, and boasting. What about the above? The above thing, the one from heaven, above. Wisdom from above. Can we describe that? Describe it to us. Sam. Okay? You want him to continue? Continue. Okay. Go ahead, tell us, Samuel. What are the words for the wisdom from above? Words to describe it. This is a verse to remember. Wisdom from above. Remember those. 1, verse 17. Verse 17. But the wisdom from above is pure. Thank you. Next, 2. Peaceable. What does peaceable mean? What does peaceable mean? It seeks peace. Wisdom that doesn't seek to fight. A person who has wisdom from God is not interested in quarreling and fighting. And then 3, gentle, right? Not harsh. Shelly, stand here. Come stand here. Come stand here. Because I asked not to talk, and you are talking. Which face? Do you want to face the wall, or do you want to face them? Okay, stand here and face them. 4. Willing to yield. What does willing to yield mean? What is? Have you seen the yield sign? You know what's a yield sign? In driving, you have a sign like this. Have you seen that sign before? When the merge, there's a road merging to another road. You're going on a highway and you need to go slow, but if there's two cars, one coming on the ramp, one coming on the highway, which one should wait until the other one passes? The ramp, because it has a yield sign. So if you're wisdom from above, you wait for someone else to talk. You wait for somebody else to say what they think. You don't jump into them. If you are truly wise from God, you're waiting for others to do what they think they need to do. But the fact that you jump on them and you don't want to wait for them, it means you're not wise from heaven. Next, 5. Seven. Full of mercy. And good things. 6. Stop, don't distract them. Good.
Without partiality.
Without partiality, he spoke about that from the beginning. Without hypocrisy. Pretense, no pretense. Okay, so this is the verse for you. Continue and finish this chapter so we can finish. Go ahead.
Now the fruit of righteousness is sown in peace by those who make peace.
Always remember, when you want to do God's work, it's always done in peace. Fighting, quarreling, protesting, all kind of harsh stuff is not godly. Not godly at all. Okay, so let's count this because this is the one that you'll remember. The wisdom from above is first, pure, peaceable, gentle, willing to yield, full of mercy and good things, without partiality, without hypocrisy. If I ask you, tell me some things about the wisdom from God, what would you say? How would you think that somebody is wise and his wisdom is coming from heaven, not from the earth? This verse is for memorization. Okay? This is your verse for memorization for chapter 3. Got that one? Okay. All right. And next time, this is what I'm going to ask you for. The images he's giving about the tongue and the use of the tongue is bits of horses, rudders of boats, small fire in a forest, mixed spring between fresh water and bitter water, and mixed trees from different grapes. He says this cannot happen. This is impossible. So the tongue sometimes does this, give the two fruits. And we said the wisdom from below has 3 characters: envy, self-seeking, and boasting. While the wisdom from above is pure, peaceable, gentle, willing to yield. I like this the best. Full of mercy and good things, without partiality, without hypocrisy. Okay? You're asking about time, right? 5 minutes. We can quickly do a little bit from the song.